my page, because I've been doing a quick scan through Steve's at Simply Diagnostic. Right, my channel. Here we go. Turn the volume down. Who's that guy, honestly? Okay. Dum. How's the audio? Let me know. Just getting organised. Oh, it's not on yet. Jeez, I'll shut him up. Let's do a quick refresh. Boom. Running a little bit late this morning. Sorry, crew. But we are almost there. There we go, look. Who have we got in the workshop this morning? There, look. On cue. Peter Swatman. Hi, Andy and crew. Good morning, Peter. Welcome back to the workshop. Great to have you on board. Okay, well, while you guys catch up with the comments, time for a slurp. Not bad. Kill Switch BB, hiya gang. Morning, Kill Switch. Good to have you on board. It's been one hell of a week. Really has. I didn't expect this week to be so busy. Oh, I spilled my coffee. What the hell? Not good, is it? Okay. A bit of a surprise for you all today as well. Something that I didn't put in the thumbnail. I know Mum's watching. Morning, Mum. I've got a birthday present. Not entirely sure what it is yet, though. Bear with me. Hang on a second. I need some blue rope. There we go. Solve the problem. So, yes. Oh, God, the adverts are still running. What the hell? I don't want trials of free stuff. Thank you very much. Right. That's better. Okay, so who else have we got? Al Elish. Good afternoon, Andy. Well, it's definitely morning for me. Machine NZ Kevin. Good morning, Andy and crew. Good morning, Kevin. Welcome back to the workshop. JJ. Morning, Andy and crew. Morning, JJ. Good job, mate. Dum. First one of the day. Terrible, isn't it? Anyway, so do we start? Is there enough people in the audience? Well, you guys are bored to get out of bed, so let's crack on. How was the week? Well, I was on the road, as many of you well know, from last weekend. And Monday, I drove down to Palmerston North. It's about 250 k's from here, south. And went to go and see a motorcycle shop in the afternoon. All went extremely well, actually. I wasn't too sure how the meeting was going to go, but it went well. So we're sort of back on track. And then from there, I drove to a little town called Greytown, which is about an hour north of, well, maybe an hour and a half, actually, with the hill in the way, north of Wellington. Stayed there the night. Very nice place, actually. If you ever get a chance, the White Swan Hotel. Very, very nice indeed. Good grub and great service. Although, first frost of the year. Woke up and it was bloody cold. I turned the heater off at the end, before I went to sleep. And, geez, a bit chilly by the morning. What else have we got? Ted McConaughey. McConaughey, is that right? Good morning. Morning, Ted. Great name, by the way. My uncle was called Ted. Uncle Ted. Richard Perry, hi, Andy and crew GB, big thumbs up. There you go, mate. Yes, I woke up and then from there went down to Upper Hutt, went to another motorcycle shop, stayed in Wellington, which was very good. However, there was a bit of a trend going on the evenings. I had a lot of admin work to get done, and which involved actually what we call an MI report, a market information report. Now, this is a report that I can send back as feedback from the market. Any problems, issues, good things, it's just a communication portal. And as it happened, I think it was Tuesday night. Yes, it was. It was Tuesday night. I remember it. I managed to sneak out for about half an hour and get some grub. But I worked until, it was way gone 11 p.m. with a half-hour break, just doing MI reports that night and a few emails and stuff, as well as a full day's job, driving, doing my visits and stuff. So that really, it set me back. I didn't get a lot of sleep that night. I had to be up early in the morning to get to the next shop. And really, that whole rest of the week, I was playing catch up, trying to recover. But every night, I had lots of admin work to do. So every night was a late night, unfortunately. Um, so, in all honesty, I was really glad to be home on Friday. Really glad. Got home. Oh, no, Friday. Yeah, I got home at lunchtime because the visit for the Friday was cancelled. That's right, I was in Napier. I know it was cancelled for a couple of days, but so I did some admin work in the morning and then drove home, and then had to collect my scope and my laptop and get up to Tokoroa. I had a bike to go to do and diagnose, which I spent the afternoon doing, which was a funny one actually. I should show you a picture. Let me try and get set up. I might get a bit odd on the live stream while I'm setting this one up, but we'll get there. Just bear with me while I open the file, because I can show you the file. That's not a problem. Not a problem at all, I don't think. Boom, boom, boom. Right, file. Open. In fact, you can see this. Bear with me. Can you see this? No, you can't. You can't see this actually. You can see what I'm going to show you at the end, but you can't see this bit. Is that the one? Must have saved me a different directory. Will this do? I think it will. Bear with me. No, it won't. Oh man, where's it gone? Bear with me, bear with me, bear with me. File. It's all gone quiet on the live stream because Andy's concentrating. I think actually, yes, it's down here. I've not actually categorized, put these in the folder yet. Here, this should show it. Yes, yes. Wiggly lines. I don't know if Steve's watching or not, but he might be. Okay, I'm going to turn you around. First one of the day. 3, 2, 1, boom. Okay, so if Simon's watching, or Steve, we have, what's that one? That was ignition. Yes, no. Yes, ignition. We have crank angle sensor. Engine running, bum, 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 bum. Turn engine off at either the ignition switch or the kill switch, and the voltage range of the crank angle sensor changes. What the hell? Never seen that before. However, I did also find, after I'd done this bit, I found a 1/2 amp parasitic drain with everything turned off, and there shouldn't be anything. So actually, measured the wrong bit there. Bear with me, bear with me. I'm still waking up. There we go, look. So it jumps by about 10 volts. That's interesting, isn't it? So, never come across that before. If anybody else has, please let me know. I think it may well be linked to that potentially short to ground. Interesting stuff. And no, it's not the stator. I have measured the stator. So, back to the live stream. There you go. That'll work. Okay. So, yes, not come across that before. Very, very strange. I did reference quite a few of my other captures. And Jason straight at me. You don't want to see the door. You want to see the bike. There you go. So yeah, anybody else that knows wiggly lines, let me know. Simon, if you're there, let me know what you think. And Steve, of course. Right, let's get back onto the live stream. Jeez. There we go. Oh, lots. Right. Where do we get to? Simon, there he is. Good morning, Andy and crew. Perfect timing, Simon. There's a case for you. That one hasn't yet been solved. We're under a lot of pressure. We ran out of time on Friday. So I've decided to replace because the stator comes with the pickup coil. We've decided, just for now, to try a new stator stroke pickup coil. I did also find, just more information for you, you know how oil sometimes migrates up the stator wires to the reg rectifier? The plug full of oil. Another poignant element there. So that's got to be cleaned out, obviously. And hopefully, just clean all the wire. Well, it's going to get a new stator anyway, so the wiring will be nice and clear, so it shouldn't be a problem. John Dwyer, good day to you, Andy and crew. Hope everyone is well. I'm good. I'm a bit knackered. I had a good day yesterday. We're going to come to that. Two Diags, both successful, which I'm very pleased about. It's not always it happens for me. I don't always get to the bottom of the problem, especially if it's a site visit and I've only got a certain amount of time to get it done. I can give them direction by the end of it, but we don't always find the fault. I find, believe it or not, I'm a lot better off at doing diagnostics here in my workshop when I'm using the scope and stuff than I am on site. I can be pulled away and ask questions and bits and pieces, whereas here I can really focus on the job, and it's weird actually how that's suddenly come to light. And you don't always get told the whole story either, unfortunately. Whereas here I've got the time to start from scratch and go through it all myself. Connor K, good morning, Connor. Morning, Andy and crew, watching at home. I would like to be in Monaco. You're not the only one. Formula One GP tomorrow. As Mick Jagger said, you can't always get what you want. You can't with these big lips. That's one. I can't do a Mick Jagger impression, so please don't ask me to do one. Kevin, all those hours, hope you're hourly paid. Kevin, I am not hourly paid, sir. Arrownet. Morning, Andy. Good morning, Arrownet. Hell of a name. Mike's Automotive Diagnostics. Good morning, Andy. I just finished mowing my lawn. Just a little late. Glad to see scope use again on here. Yes, the biggest problem, and I'm going to have to work my way around this, I think, to some extent. The biggest problem is I can't show a particular brand of product on the channel. That's the physical vehicles or cans of chain lube or whatever it is. If it's that brand, it can't be shown. And that's fine. That was an agreement that we made 5 years ago. And I have no intention whatsoever of breaching that agreement. However, I don't see any problems at all in showing case studies of the scope and the wiggly lines and talking about them and the failures, the problems. And we've got two to run through today, which both were very, very interesting. So stay tuned. That's all I can say. It's going to get interesting. Simon, funny Diags. I had a stolen recovered bike. I'm trying to get the bike going. The thief had tried to bypass the kill switches, but had engaged the kills, lol. Well, you see, that's where knowledge comes from. It's the clever criminals, and I don't endorse criminals at all, but it's the clever ones that don't get caught. It's the dumb ones that are not very good at their job, and they see it as a job, don't forget, that get caught and, or they're not successful. You got to learn your trade. No matter what trade you go for, you've got to be good at it to do any good. That's a good one, Simon. Simon, your waveforms, is it an AC system? Yes, I believe it is. The pickup is an induced voltage 2-wire pickup. There's no voltage supply to it. It's just induced. Simon, I know what AC stands for. I'm not that dumb. Anyway, so we'll put that one to one side for now. Simon's having a little think about that. Very strange situation. I've never seen it jump like that. Customer complaint, by the way, which I haven't covered, is every now and again, and it can happen not at cold start, but as soon as it's come off cold start, it can happen. Riding along, stop the bike, physically stop the bike, engine's still running, jumps off to open the gate, and here's the bike just stall. Now, it's not, so he says, it's not a stall as quick as if you were turning the ignition off. It does take a little bit longer, and you can hear the revs coming down, and then it cuts out. It's not fuel pump. It's got a new fuel pump in it. So it's nothing to do with that. And I think they've checked the injector spray. Spray pattern's good, so I believe. Can't remember. I know it was only 2 days ago, but I can't remember. Um, so, and it's quite sporadic. Doesn't do it every time. Oh, what's that? Simon, oh, the kill may be dumping voltage to the crank circuit semi-chafed wire. Yes, well, Simon, what really concerned me, and I only got this when I was reassembling the bike at the end of the day, as I checked the parasitic drain, and I was getting half an amp. Now, I wish I'd filmed it, but obviously I couldn't. But pulled all the fuses one at a time, as Ivan says, go through the circuits, pulled each fuse, even the main fuses, made no difference at all. So you go, okay, no worries, there's going to be a short to ground upstream of the fuse box or the fuses, and we're only talking tiny lengths of wire here. What I did find, and the only way I could get the amperage to go away, was to disconnect one of the fuses. It's very strange, honestly, if you'd seen it. Disconnect one of the fuses and disconnect the power feed, the main power feed that goes to the starter solenoid. Weird. If you unplug, because the starter solenoid isn't just a starter solenoid, it actually feeds current into the loom, and there's a 15 amp fuse on there. If you disconnect the connector that feeds the loom from the starter solenoid, it doesn't go away. No change. Very strange. If you disconnect the wire to the starter solenoid and one of the larger fuses, then it goes away. If you disconnect either of those two, it doesn't go away. Very strange. So anyway, it's going to be another Diag to continue, because I'm very interested to find out where that parasitic drain is going. Customer hasn't complained at all of low battery or no start if the bike's left for a couple of days, but half an amp, it's going to be getting pretty low. Does that current draw go away over time? I don't know. I wasn't there long enough. So it's a work in progress. It's going to be a really interesting one, is that? And it might well be linked to the problem the bike has of stalling out. The additional voltage that's going onto the stator pickup, the crank angle sensor. So yes, it could well be. And I mean, on these particular bikes, 9 out of 10 failures is usually a wiring problem. So I'm still very focused on that. Hasn't done a tremendous amount of Ks though, so it hasn't done that much work, although there was quite a bit of debris around the battery fuse box area, dirt and leaves and that kind of stuff that got in there. I have inspected the wiring around the ECU, and all of that is fine. And the ECU's up there as well. So, another cigarette. Yesterday, two diags to do. First one was a continuation on a 320cc 4-stroke twin, and almost a new one. That's all I can say. Now, I'd gone through the bike. Ben was here actually last Sunday afternoon. I was working on the bike for about an hour and a half. Half an hour of it was taking bloody panels off, because there's that many panels on these new bikes, and working and recording where all the nuts and bolts go and stuff, because there's a lot of them. And just getting to grips with it. Did a fuel pressure test. Now the customer complaint with this particular bike, very similar to the quad bike actually. Once the bike's warmed up, and we're talking within 60 seconds the bike's starting, maybe 2 minutes at the very most, it will start to get a miss. And I had the scan tool plugged in, and you could clearly see on the scan tool the miss, and you could hear it. It was there. Unfortunately, the scan tool doesn't count. The ECU doesn't count misfires. It's only misfires, so no direction there whatsoever. Fuel pressure, perfect, no problems at all with that. No known issues with the fuel pumps on that particular model, so moved away from that side of it. And in all honesty, that became the end of the diagnostic on the Sunday. I'd done a few of the little bits and pieces, visual checks. We did find that one of the plug caps, and it's remote coil, it's not coil plug. Did find that one of the plug caps was actually broken. It was damaged. So I'm thinking, maybe it's short to ground. Maybe we found it. Wasn't that? That wasn't the issue at all. Although it does need a new plug cap on it. And I'm not sure if you can buy the plug cap separate for that particular model. It might be a new coil. Who knows? So yesterday, got it back on the hoist, and really, you know, for an engine to stall out, you've either got to be losing fuel or losing sparks. So I thought, go back to basics. What are we losing? So first of all, scoped the injector, and with the engine stalling out, the injector was still pulsing. Wasn't an issue. So and you know, and the pintle was still moving. You could see the armature moving and the induced voltage at the end of the waveform. So wasn't a problem with that, or either of them, should I say, because there's one per cylinder. So then went after the ignition side of it, and used the secondary little clip-on, you know, on the HT lead, and it all sort of looked okay. There was a discrepancy between the right-hand cylinder and the left-hand cylinder. Let me get set up and I'll show you what I mean. And that sort of gave me some direction. So let me just open up another file and you can have a look. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, right hand. Here we go. Right, bear with me, people. Bear with me. Get rid of that. Right, okay. Turn you around. 3, 2, 1. Boom. Okay, so this is the ignition on the right-hand side of the engine. And we've got maximum kV. Oh, I don't know. Let's have a little look. Let's have a measure. Boom, boom, boom. I suppose on an average, we're looking at about, I don't know, about 10 kV. If I open up, oh, hang on, you can't see this bit. It's going to give you the file name, the folder name. Just going to turn you away for a second. This is complicated. I wasn't really planning to do this. Right, left-hand cylinder. There we go. Right. Okay. Turn you back. Okay, this is the left-hand cylinder. As you can see, the kV is much, much lower. If we go right to the end, this is when the engine stalled out. I think from memory, I might actually, I don't know. Yeah, I think it did stall out. We've got very low kV. You know, so we're getting right down here somewhere. So I'm thinking, oh, this is really odd. You know, that's like 2.2 kV. So just bring you back. That sort of level. So I'm inspecting the coil. I'm spraying it with water, trying to get it to arc to ground, and nothing. No problems at all. So I'm going, you know what? Coil. Is it the coil? Is it the plug? So I thought, well, let's just do a real basic swap out here. And I mean, Simon, again, you can chip in if you like. I thought, well, it's a pretty new bike. The customer absolutely swears blind that the problem was not prior to the first service of the bike. It didn't occur before the first service. It says that it did happen after the first service. Now, first service is due at 1,000 Ks. This bike had done 2,714 kilometers. There you go, good memory. Don't know if it happened immediately after the first service. I've had no contact with the customer, unfortunately, so I was relying on the tech to give me the information, and he didn't have all the answers. It was all like almost third hand. So a bit of an issue there, but so I thought, well, I wonder if I've got a plug. So I thought, I'll take a look at the plug. I want to look for tracking marks and stuff on the plug and inside the plug cap. So I pulled the plug out, and I haven't got it to hand, but it's a very, very long threaded plug. I thought, man, I'm not going to have any more of these. So I rummaged around in my spark plug drawer. In fact, we can go and find it. Let's go and have a little look. Boom, boom, boom. Turn you around. I can show you the plug. Boom. So the plugs are these. That one. Look at that. So let's go and take a look at one of these, and you'll see what it's all about. Okay, turn you around again. Boom. So many turnarounds today. And I know we've not even put a pie in yet. We could talk about this forever. So the plug itself, and I was extremely surprised that I had any, very, very, very long thread. Now, the original plug I've actually put under the seat with the bike to go back to the motorcycle shop. So they've got all the old parts. But I fitted a new plug, and instantly the problem went away. Faulty spark plug. And I thought, maybe I've disturbed something, you know, because you move the HT lead around when you're changing the plugs. So I thought, right, okay, we've done the captures. Seems to be running just fine. There was on both the scan tool and the scope, and the KV was fine. It was a lot higher. It was the same as the right-hand cylinder. Let's put the old plug back in again and just see if the problem comes back. And sure enough, immediately the problem was there again. So, faulty spark plug. What the hell? Come on, NGK. There's no way that they would have replaced the spark plug at the first service. It's not needed. It should last a lot longer than that. And to be perfectly honest, I don't think the motorcycle shop possibly would have even had that spark plug in stock. So obviously the tech didn't go after replacing the plugs, or one of the plugs. One thing that made the Diag a bit difficult at the start is when the engine dropped a cylinder at idle, at operating temperature, it would stall out immediately. It would not run on one cylinder. So then you start thinking, you know, it's more of a common issue. You know, is it losing ignition completely on both cylinders? Or is it you losing fuel supply? Or is it a commanded stall? Who knows? But there was that hard miss there, which is a bit weird. But anyway, you know, found the fault, put a new plug in it. I actually changed both spark plugs just for safety's sake. And did some final testing and had it running for probably a good half an hour in the workshop. Didn't miss once. So to me, that's a fix. Happy with that one. Geez, I need to get back to the live stream. What the hell? There I am looking at my scope. Where do we get to? Machine Z. When you say wiring problems, is it chafing that most common? Well, actually, it can be chafing, short to grounds. I mean, a bike I worked on a few weeks ago, that was a short to ground on the idle speed control valve circuit, which was basically preventing the idle speed control valve from being actuated. And the ECU, over a period of time, recognized the high current draw on that circuit and actually shut down, putting out a voltage to the idle speed control valve to protect itself. And that would only reset if you disconnected the battery and reconnect the battery again. It would then start to put out a voltage to the idle speed control valve. Now, yes, also, do come across more commonly now on newer machines, because wiring has got the copper content of wiring is so small, the gauge of the wiring is so small, that I come across fractures within the wiring itself. So it looks absolutely fine from the outside, but possibly due to vibration or maybe a manufacturing fault. I don't know which. I mean, sometimes this can happen on pretty new machines where the copper inside has actually broken, and every now and again it'll make contact and everything will work fine, and every now and again it'll break, and of course you get the issue and it flags a fault code, or it shows the symptom. In the case of an idle speed control valve, if that's the case, the idle speed control valve will no longer move and it'll maintain its current position, and that can cause fast idle. If it's broken during cold start, then of course the idle speed control valve is more open than it should be for when the engine's at normal temperature, and vice versa. Sometimes we get stall outs, you know, because it doesn't open enough. So yeah, I mean, you know, easiest way to do that is to remove the ECU, remove the component, double check your wiring, the wiring diagram, to make sure that the wire only goes between the two components, and then load test the wires and give them a wiggle and so on, and see if the bulb, you know, goes out, or it flashes, or goes dim, or whatever. It's usually a quick test. Trying to get techs more into doing load testing on wiring as opposed to continuity testing. Continuity testing is just, to me, it's not really the whole picture, whereas a load test will tell you everything. But we're getting there, slowly. So that bike all got put back together again, and I got that finished by about 1 o'clock. Started at about, I don't know, 10? It would probably be about 10 o'clock before I actually got sorted out. I had a bit of admin work to do first thing in the morning. I know it was a Saturday, but I had to get some more admin work done. And then the afternoon diag was on an ROV, a side-by-side. and this is one of the surf club machines, and it had a very light misfire. So it had a misfire at light throttle, so just above idle, ba 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 ba, and it was actually worse yesterday. It actually started to backfire a couple of times. It's a bit odd. So same thing again. You know, I went straight after the injector just to make sure there was a pulse there. It's an easy thing to get to. Well, I was working at the ECU actually, so real easy to just pull that. Yep, because we're still getting the pulse, no problems. The pintle was moving, and I wasn't suspecting fuel pump on that because it was fine under heavy load. I'd done a test on the beach, and we got, the machine was pulling 70, 80 k's an hour, no problems at all. So we still had full power, so I wasn't suspecting fuel issue. So then went straight after coil secondary, same setup as with the first bike in the morning. And this is what I found. I wonder if I've got a capture for it. Just bear with me a second while I try and find the capture for it. If not, I'll open the fix one. Open. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Bear with me, bear with me. No, damn. I didn't save the fix capture, the fail capture, sorry. What's that? That's the injector, I don't want that one. File, open, sorry, call secondary, right. But we can use this. Okay, so, turn you around again, quick chat. I know it's not as comprehensive as Steve's stuff, it really isn't, but it's still interesting. Okay, so we've got, try and bring you around the front a bit more so you get more of a picture. There we go. Okay, so this is a capture taken after I'd fixed it. Now, when I first scoped it, the burn time, which is this bit here, see, it's pretty much horizontal. It was actually starting right up here, and it was coming straight down at about a 45-degree angle to the ends. The kV was dropping at about 45 degrees, as opposed to getting a pretty standard, pretty set sort of burn time and burn voltage. The kV voltage pretty much stays about the same during the actual burn time, and that wasn't the case. It looked really odd. It was coming straight down from about up here somewhere and straight to here. I thought, that doesn't look right. It doesn't look right at all. Definitely something wrong with that. So turn you around, boom. So I thought, right, okay, let's look at the coil. And I mean, the machine's only about a year old, and they don't have normally any issues with the coils at all. So I spent a bit of time taking a few panels and bits and pieces off, because the coils are pretty hard to get to on those. And as I was taking the coil out, and one thing that these machines do suffer from, and it's a design issue, is the coil is mounted behind the passenger seat. There's 3 seats in this particular machine, and it's mounted behind the middle seat on a cross member that goes across the chassis, just underneath. Those that know the machine will know exactly what I'm talking about. And there's quite a long HT lead that then runs all the way to where the spark plug is, obviously. And it's probably about 18 inches long. It's not quite 2 foot, let's say 18 inches. But there's very, very little slack. It's actually almost tight, and these engines do move around a bit. And I have had it before where the HT lead has pulled out of the spark plug cap. So what do I show you first? I know, I'll show you the picture first. Here we go. I did take a photo. There is some information. I didn't plan to mention any of this today, so that's why I didn't really capture all the stuff. Okay, so pretty classic. Very good photo, by the way. I thought I did quite well. In there, you can see the screw piece that screws into the HT lead. You can see it's all green and crusty, and you can see quite clearly a green and crusty track running straight off to the side and to the side of the plug cap. Now, this is, sorry, did you want some more time with that? There you go, look. Boom. So you get a good look at that. I know it's not quite in focus. There is another one, actually. Bear with me. I did take a few. Maybe there's one that's slightly better focused. Yes, there you go. You can't quite see the blue track on that one, but you can see Again, another picture. And it looks a bit manky down the bottom, doesn't it, as well? Doesn't look smooth, clean rubber. It looks almost like it's got some dirt in there as well. So I pulled off the plug. Well, in fact, as I pulled the plug cap off the plug, it came off the end of the HT lead. Now, I don't have the HT lead bit to hand, but I do have the rubber cap. I had to cut it open, and I've got the internal part. So inside there is what we were just looking at on the photo. There's no way I can show you what's in there. You've already seen it as a photo. It's too dark. There's no way the live stream stuff will pick up on that. What I did look around on the outside was for where it, you usually get a blowout on the outside, and I couldn't see anything at all. Obviously, it must have been short into ground somehow, and it did seem damp in there. So I'm sure there was some moisture in there as well. So, cleaned it all up, trimmed down the HTLE because it was quite corroded with the copper. Had to take probably maybe quarter of an inch off the end, maybe half an inch to get to some decent copper again, which now means that the HT lead would definitely not be long enough. So I had to then clean up the terminals on the coil, clean up the mounting on the frame, and fit longer bolts with some risers to bring the coil about an inch nearer to the engine. So it was hanging off some quite long bolts, but it was all nice and tight. It seemed to go on pretty well. And fitted a nice new plug cap, which was from NGK. I fitted, which is the only one I had, to be honest, that was reasonably the right resistance. I think the one that comes off is between, I think the spec is 7.5 to 12.5 kilo ohms. And this one I had is only a 5 kilo ohm. But I thought, well, it's not far off, and it's all I've got, and I have to fix it. I'm sure it'll be okay. So I installed the new cap and installed the coil and fired it up, and sure enough, fixed. And you've seen the fixed waveform. I was quite happy with that. So that one was done. So really weird. The first diagnostic that I did in the morning was a faulty spark plug, and the second diagnostic that I did essentially was a faulty plug cap. Both extremely basic. And I mean, sure enough, I probably would have saved myself a little bit of time. I could have just gone straight for the plug cap, knowing that I've had issues with those before. They work on the beach. It's a salty environment. And I could have just looked inside and gone, yeah, sure enough, we'll just snip that off, put a new one on, and it's fixed. But it's always good when you've got a bit more time to do the proper diagnostic process, because then I actually got to see what the waveform looks like when you've got that problem. So now, if I see that kind of waveform again, I'll know it's probably a short to ground in the cap. Pretty cool. Basic stuff, but you've got to sometimes stay basic. Oh my word. Lots and lots and lots and lots of messages. Hang on, let me scroll back. Right. Peter Swatman. Check for broken wire inside the insulation. We'll send you a Facebook message with some details. Absolutely, I will look at that. Simon Rawl. Cheap insulation resistance tester is good for loom testing when all sensitive modules have been unplugged. Should get one of those. Kevin, on older bikes, do they suffer from black wire? Yeah, black wire is corrosion, isn't it, of the copper. Now, you get that a lot on trailers, actually, for some strange reason. You used to get a lot in the UK. On the ATVs, it really only happens on the wiring that stays live when everything's turned off. It doesn't really happen unless there's been some kind of heat damage previously, which has sort of already affected the copper. It's normally just on the permanent live stuff. And I do tell people, and honestly, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. I tell people that it's a really good idea to fit a battery isolation switch to your ATV or your ROV if you're using it in a really muddy environment. We used to fit them a lot to our four-wheel drives in the UK, our little Suzukis. They all had them, and we used to fit them as well to some of our ATVs. And we found that the wiring, we'd have less wiring issues with corrosion if we had them turned off on the kill switch, on the battery isolation switch, when the bikes weren't in use, because those bikes were going through really deep water every single day. Everything was getting soaking wet. They used to get pressure washed every single day. So the wiring used to get very wet. And I mean, unfortunately, some of the plugs that go onto the relays, they weren't really fully insulated, so you get a lot of corrosion build up, you know, on the wires that were permanently live, and that definitely helped it. Mike's Automotive Diagnostics. I had a four-wheeler that would stall while warm. I noticed that the tachometer would drop off right before the stall. Pulled the case to the crank sensor and magneto, put my scope on the wire, and nothing. Wow. I found the wire was broken inside of the insulation. It does happen. I've come across it 3 or 4 times now on an idle speed control valve circuit on a particular model, and I think that's down to vibration, actually, just because it always seems to be in a similar place. It's about between 1 inch and 2 inches from the plug that goes on the idle speed control valve, and you know they do move around. This is the problem, and the wiring's too thin. You know, it can't cope with it. Use the Keith tug test. Yes, absolutely, and I have done that, and it does work. But it's always good just to be, you know, to really inspect the wire for any kind of, even the smallest little hole or crack could let moisture in and cause the wire to fail at that point. It could cause, you know, internal corrosion. Mike's on the diagnostics. Did that have cracked ceramic? No, there was absolutely, going back to the ROV, there was absolutely nothing on the spark plug itself. This is on the HT lead side of the actual plug cap. This side here, whereas the spark plug goes on to this end here. In fact, I can demonstrate to you because I've got a spark plug, not the one for this particular vehicle, but there you go. Look, so the spark plug goes on there, really tight there, actually, really good. And there was nothing downstream of the plug cap. The problem was up here, and because the HT lead is quite short, the plug cap, this part of the plug cap, which has got that bit inside it, it actually is basically rests against the cylinder head. It doesn't sit in the middle with an air gap all around it. Because it's quite tight on the HT lead, it gets pulled across. So, you know, there's every possible chance that, oh no, it's all right. Every possible chance, it's got a really easy route to ground, especially if it's damp and the insulation's already compromised. Oh my God, Marcin Wojciechowski, was that work? Hi Andy, good to see you. Lately at my wife's Ford Cougar 2 and third brake light stopped working. Okay, that's not good. It's probably an LED brake light. Have they all burnt out, or is it a wiring issue? We see a lot of that in Auckland, where vehicles, cars, especially brake lights, normally they either, well, it's one or the other, either the high stop, we call it, fails, or both of the normal brake lights are not working, so only the high stop's still working, and they just drive around. Nobody ever checks. They just drive around like that, and then every now and again you get a car that nothing works. There's no way he's using engine braking because he's got an auto. I measured voltage there, and it always has 11 volts when brake is not applied, and 12 volts when applied. That's weird. Of course, light itself broke, but I think it's not normal to have 11 volts all the time, right? Fords, they're a law unto themselves, but not really. It's only a light, so it should really be 0 volts when it's not being actuated, and 12 volts or battery voltage when it is, loom voltage. But yeah, you're on the right track, but that does seem weird. But if you are getting 12 volts when the brake's activated, then it must be an internal fault on the lamp itself, I would say. But do check your ground as well. You know, I mean, where are you getting your ground from? Are you putting your meter to the body of the car, or are you using the earth wire of the light itself? Because it could be a failed ground if you haven't checked that. Harry Diag, man, I feel sick. Started out like sneezing and coughing, now can't quit running to the bathroom. Man, I feel bad. Oh dear. Well, make sure you take your phone with you so you can watch the live stream. Sorry, Harry. Oh, that's a cold coffee. Okay, we've got some stuff to do. You might have noticed on the table, there's a parcel. I believe it's a 50th birthday present from my mum. So we're going to get into that very shortly. But first, we've got to get the pie in the oven because I'm getting hungry. We have here a Bake Shack homemade quality pepper steak. So let's get it out of the bag and have a little look at its build quality, should I say. So interesting little diagnostics going on there. I did very much enjoy them. Although, as always, you just want to get stuff fixed and get it out the door, don't you? This is a square pie. What the hell? Why? Why would you make them square? Anyway, so there you go. That's the lid. Quick gluage test around the side. Has it bonded correctly? It doesn't look too bad, does it? And underside is looking pretty damn perfect. It's quite a thin pie. There's not a lot of height to it, this one. And it does sag down in the middle. I mean, you can see that or not. You can see it just drops down in the middle as well. So, a bit of an indication there's not that much filling in there. No idea what the price was. Mrs. Mechanic picked it up yesterday from the nearest town from here. So, without further ado, let's go and get it slapped in the pie warmer. Turn you around, 3, 2, 1, boom. Here we go. Right. Bum, 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 bum. Oh, pardon me, cold coffee. Bloody good. I found a new use for the pie warmer the other day. I was spraying some small brackets, so I hung them off here and left the door open, and the heat dried them off really quick. It's brilliant. It's a fantastic addition to the workshop. All workshops should have pie warmers. Isn't that right, Sheldon? Right, back to the bench. What should we do next? Oh, should we do the parcel? Come on then, let's do the parcel. I know you want to do the parcel. Right. Now, I haven't covered up the address because it's so small that I don't think any of you can read that. So, let's not worry about that too much. I trust you all as good friends these days. So. Oh, man. Right. Are we level? We're not even level. Okay, so what have we got? Well, I'm going to put my thumb over the thingy. There we are, look, right. Okay, it's from France. It is. Land of the Eiffel Tower. Okay, where's my knife? I am prepared for this. So, I'm going to try and do it to camera for you. We'll have one down there. Jeez, apologies. We had the wheel of death for a second there. What was going on? Okay, right. Here we go. Can we get in? Oh, yes. Okay, there's stuff inside, obviously. We'll just put the box over there for now. Okay, what have we got? What has Mum sent me? She did warn me there was a present on its way, and I'm assuming that this is it. I'll have to wait and see, won't we? Bloody hell, it's like pass the parcel. Ted Simon. A book. I know Ted Simon. Jupiter's Travels. He wrote the book that I read when I was a kid. Dreaming of Jupiter. On the road again. 59,000 miles. 5 continents. 3 years. 2 broken bones. 1 romance. Proving you can go back. You can go back. You can do stuff again. If you enjoy it, why not keep doing it? That's what I say. And Motorcycle News goes on to say, the greatest ever motorcycle travel book, part 2. I must admit, I very, very much enjoyed reading Ted Simon's Jupiter's Travels on the first book. Very cool. But it's not over. There's more in the bag. More in the box. Oh, there we are, look. Right. We've got both of them. And I do have, although the one I've got is a smaller version of this. It's not quite as big as this book. This is the original Ted Simon's Jupiter's Travels. And if you haven't yet read it, and Ted doesn't sponsor the channel by any means. It's just a great book. And I think you would really enjoy reading it. If you're into reading books, and in all honesty, I'm not. It's very rare I ever read a book these days. I don't have time. But I should start. And now that I've got the second one, Dreaming of Jupiter, I will definitely... I'm going to have to read this one again, aren't I? Just to get my head around it, to remember all the details, and then go on to this one. So I've got a lot of reading to do. That could probably take me about a year. So the first one, Ted Simon made a journey millions dream of. We do. I honestly, I'm an adventurer at heart, and I like to get on the bike and just disappear, as you well know, but it rarely happens these days. He rode around the world for 4 years, traveling 78,000 miles through 45. That's a long way, isn't it? 78,000 miles through 45 countries, over mountains, through jungles, across deserts and oceans, living with peasants and presidents, in prisons and palaces, Jesus, through wars and revolutions, experiencing the depths of fear, the heights of euphoria, and the rewards of love. He was seen as a spy, a romantic stranger, a maker of myths, even a deity. And for Ted Simon, Magellan on a motorbike, it became a journey to the center of his soul. The Boston Globe says, a compelling narrative that moves sometimes at breakneck speed over some of the world's most beautiful and mysterious terrain, packed with fascinating detail, splendid characterizations, and hair-raising adventures. Very cool. And there's lots of other stuff on there. So check it out if you've not read it before. I've just opened the front cover. Look at this. For Andrew. Ted Simon. It's signed. Ted signed the copy for me. Has he signed the other one? I don't know. Let's have a look. He has. The man himself has. I've got signed copies. Ted, if you're watching this, now I don't know if you are or not, who knows, but thank you very, very much. I'm going to treasure these forever, and I will be reading them for sure. Definitely. Let's have a look at the box. Bear with me, because it does have a consignment note on it. Let's see what's on there. Can I get into it without damaging them? I don't know. Bear with me, this is important stuff. It's well taped. There we go. What have we got here? Right. Get rid of the box. Okay. They both look the same. Have to cover up my address. Yes, we've got 2 copies. You can't read that from there, surely. I'm just going to cover that up. Look at the signature. Ted Simon, the same as in the book. Ted himself posted these to me. Mum, you're a genius. How on earth did you get Ted to sign them and post them to me himself? Wow. These are going to stay in the book as well. I'm not getting, in fact, they're on stickers. So I might even stick them into the books on the front cover, but I'll do that later on. Aren't I a lucky chap? 50th birthday present. Signed by the great adventurer Ted Simon. Both books, both adventures. I sort of vaguely remember this one on his old Triumph. I remember one section where he was trying to change the points, and I think he did an engine repair somewhere as well. He started burning oil, and he had to do like a top-end rebuild. But again, I was only probably 18 when I read this book, 18 or 19, so it was a long, long time ago. But this one, I have no idea what he gets up to in this one. So very, very cool. Thank you, Mum. What a genius. She's done it again. She's pulled it out of the hat. A phenomenal birthday present, and one that I will treasure forever. Absolutely ever. Right, I'm going to put my spark plug away, because they're probably worth quite a bit of money, those ones, with a long thread. And I don't know why I've got any of these. I wonder if it's the one for my 450. Could be. Because normally I buy a box of everything. Whenever I need to buy something, I'll just buy a box. Okay, back to the comments, because I always ignore you guys. My apologies. Harry, on the road, traveling to New York with this, also flew or whatever it is, going to New York to get treated for my liver cancer, always stopping. Oh, mate, that can't be fun at all. Well, good luck on your trip. And good luck with the surgery as well. Simon, one more Keith test, running a test light connected to ground along the HT lead. That's a very, very good and simple test. Yes, I would agree with that. However, the miss was on this particular machine, and that's a great test, Sam, don't get me wrong. On this particular machine, working on my own, I don't think I could have done that because the distance from the throttle pedal to where the HT lead is, my arms aren't long enough. So I've needed Mrs. Mechanic to give me a hand. But yes, if you run the test light across the actual probe of the test light across the HT lead, of course, there's a source to ground, and it's going to ground through the test light. And it's going to pick up where the problem is. That would have been a great test to do, actually. And I didn't do that. But the scope basically gave me, it said, look, take a look at the coil. Inspect it further, based on the waveform. And as soon as I touched that HT lead or the plug cap, boom, there was the issue. Very simple. And it's very easy to overlook the simple things when it comes to diagnostics. I often find techs will go right down a rabbit hole. And that's exactly what happened, with that first bike, with the 320cc 4-stroke twin that I was working on Saturday morning. They'd gone after fuel pressure, they'd done all sorts of tests on the bike, spent hours and hours, and all it was a faulty spark plug. Yeah. Who would have guessed? New bike. But shit happens. It can. Good test, Simon. I like that. I like the simple stuff. That should be a video. I forget to do some videos on the simple stuff. Simon, Harry Diag, all the best, mate. Absolutely. Harry Diag, thanks, Simon. Sheldon's in the workshop, not the Sheldon the Mill we're talking about, which is, as you all know, it's over there. There's Sheldon the Mill. We've got Sheldon on the live stream. Good morning, Sheldon. Sorry, mate, probably a few minutes ago that, what's he say anyway? Let's see if the pie tastes like paint. I hope it doesn't taste like paint, Sheldon. I really hope that. Mike's Automotive Diagnostics, you got paper as a gift, law. Thanks, mate. It's actually very important paper, isn't it? And they're signed. I mean, how bloody cool is that? I mean, I'm getting some pretty cool stuff these days. And again, Simon sent me through the DVD the other week. Thoroughly enjoyed it. We'll definitely watch it again. Signed by the guy. I mean, one of the team. It's just incredible. Stuff that I will treasure forever and ever. Marcin, I'm just going to call it Marcin. I can't pronounce his surname. Wojciechowski's. It have new pump in it. Andy, there are 3 types of parts, good, bad, and new, because it doesn't mean it's good. I agree, that's right. And we found... Oh, Simon, you've got one for review, but I'm happy to show that. That's not a problem. Simon says, use the acronym KISS. And KISS stands for Keep It Simple, Stupid. Yes, absolutely. And it's far too easy to go down the rabbit hole of, chasing your tail, looking for something, massively overlooking the obvious. Roger! Morning, Roger. Good morning, Andy and crew. Oops, slept in. Roger, that's fine, mate. Don't worry about it. I nearly slept in this morning as well. Yeah, I tell you what, the quality of my picture on this live stream is not particularly good. How's yours? Terrible. Right, so pie is cooking. We've got the Ted Simon books. Very, very impressed with that. We've done some diagnostic work. Covered, what I've been doing as diagnostic work. We've sort of done an overview of that. What's Andy going to be doing today? Well, as with diagnostics, I didn't quite know how long they were going to take. I didn't know how involved they were going to be until you know the answer. And fortunately, yesterday, both are finished. The ROV, the side-by-side, is all back together. It's out in the garden waiting to go back to Auckland. Very pleased to get rid of that one because it's been here for a while. And yeah, maybe I should have started it a few weeks ago, but I've been way too busy. But I can get rid of the bike and I can get rid of the ROV. We're doing a bit of a major tidy up in the garden area at the moment. Mrs. Mechanic has spent some time chopping down all the bamboo with her Sawzall and, of course, the new hedge trimmer, which she really, really likes. Bit of feedback. That hedge trimmer's got the mid-size battery. I did show it before. Can't remember what the amp hour is on it. But she did 3 hours of work with a hedge trimmer and it didn't run out of battery. Bloody impressive. She was really impressed. And Very, very useful. Great for getting rid of the bamboo. Fortunately, all the bamboo that's grown up recently is quite small shoots, so it was able to cope with that very easily. She just used the Sawzall for the odd one that was a bit thick. However, she did come across a piece of wire sticking out of the ground, a piece of copper wire. Looks almost like a ground wire, you know, for electrical stuff. There's no insulation on it, it's just copper. Looks a bit like number 8 wire, but it's made of copper, and number 8 wire is not made of copper normally. And it did catch one of the blades, and it stopped the machine, but the machine's got an auto, you know, like a load sensing cutout on it, so it stopped it dead. Don't know if it's damaged the blade or not. I think we'll be all right because it was only copper, not steel. But she said it stopped it. She was able to pull it out quite easily and then carry on working. So hopefully no damage. So what am I doing today? Well, Mrs. Mechanic yesterday started digging the second hole for the second gate post. This is a foot by foot square section timber, 2.4 meters long. Reasonable chunk of it has to go in the ground. Obviously the rest of it's going to stick out. So we're going to get that finished and get that concreted into place. And we've got one more post to put in for the fence. That's going to go in today. And then that concrete can all set nicely during the week while I'm away. And then next weekend, hopefully, which is a long weekend, so we've got 3 days, so we can get the fence finished. I've got to modify the metal gate that we've got, make it a little bit longer and straighten it up because I drove into it with the trailer, bent it all. Got to sort of patch that up to work as a gate to keep Marmite in. And we're going to mount that onto the first gate post that we fitted as a temporary thing until I get some proper nice gates made up. I'm thinking I like some nice wooden gates, but with steel plates as the joining, you know, all the joints to clamp everything together. Should look quite cool. And I may even get those galvanized. We'll wait and see. Hang on, I've gone out. Got to load up those vehicles on the trailer and I'm back up to Auckland tomorrow morning. And I'll be in Auckland all week. I've got a couple of meetings to do, but for the majority of time, I'll be in the workshop at head office and working on police bikes, which will be fun, really fun. I enjoy doing that kind of stuff. It'd be good to see how far they've got. And then on the evenings and early mornings, I'll be doing my admin, trying to catch up again, because my normal job isn't in the workshop. My normal job is looking after the network, answering all the emails, providing technical support for problems that dealers have, and you know, doing warranty and that kind of thing. So all of that continues to flow quite quickly at the moment, so I have to get all that done on the evening. So realistically, it's like one long day to me is next week. It will be, with just a few sleep stops in between. There won't be a lot of time for myself, and hence another reason why there's not been any videos go out recently. I just haven't had time to do anything. Just too busy. All of last weekend I was working, not for me, but for my employer. I was doing all day Saturday, I was doing those plates, doing the test fit, and then the Sunday, well, I even forget what I was doing on the Sunday, but I was Sunday afternoon was the 320cc bike, and then Sunday morning after the live stream, I was doing those plates, those 2 prototype kits, got them all sandblasted and painted and out to the 2 motorcycle shops that needed them. They got shipped out on the Monday. So it just doesn't stop. It's just a conveyor belt, and it seems that somebody in the background is having a laugh and just turning it up and then turning it up a bit more and seeing how far they can push Andy. But so far, I've risen to the challenge. We'll keep on trucking, but it's not sustainable. I'll tell you that now. So next weekend, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, is going to be doing the fence, a bit of a tidy up, a bit more of a tidy up. Trevor the tractor has been incredibly helpful. We had an old post to pull out of the ground yesterday, so I put the 4-in-1 bucket on. Roger will laugh at this. Put the 4-in-1 bucket on, grabbed the post at the top. I'd already cut all the fence wire and stuff off it. Grabbed the post in the 4-in-1 bucket, gave it a bit of a wiggle, pushed it forwards and backwards to sort of free it off in the ground, and then up with the boom, and sure enough, popped straight out of the ground. And this was a fair sized post. It was a good solid 6-inch diameter, and it pulled it out no bother. Saved a lot of time, and it was actually very solid. I give it a wiggle first by hand, didn't move an inch. So good old Trevor saved us a lot of time digging that post out. Oh man. What time are we on? We've done an hour and 5 and we haven't even started the pie review yet. My sincere apologies. I hope you enjoyed the Diag stuff though. So tell me, what have you guys been doing for the last week? I need a bit of a fill-in. Come on, somebody send me a comment. I need a comment. And don't forget to click the thumbs up if you're enjoying the live stream, by the way. One thing I have noticed, the video on getting the CT110 up and running is it's getting a lot of views. It's gained a hell of a lot of momentum. What are we up to now? I haven't checked this morning. Boom. Oh, get rid of that. Don't need that picture anymore. YouTube Studio. Might take me a second. Oh, we got a M. What was the M? Oh, Mum. Mum sent me an email. Good timing, Mum. I'm watching your live stream. Lovely to see you. Thank you, Mum. Appreciate that. Hope you like the ponytail. It's a very strange thing going back of my head, but it's doing all right. Do hope you like the present, but there should be another one posted at the same time, but seems to have gone AWOL. Oh dear. I will try and find out what has happened to it, but should it arrive, please let me know. Well, you'll know on the live stream. Stay safe. Sending all my love, Mum, and I get 5 kisses. Thanks, Mum. I feel very loved right now. Appreciate that. And hope you're enjoying the live stream. Probably the diagnostic stuff, totally over your head, but you continue to watch, and that's what it's all about. So yes, what was I doing? I was going to look for the, I was doing the thingy, wasn't I? Bear with me. Bear with me. Close that down. Some of that. One of those. Bear with me. Very, very useful, this YouTube Studio thing. If you've got a YouTube channel, it tells you all the stats and stuff in relationship to your channel. And the CT110. It's an hour and, what is it? How long is it? It's about an hour and 45 or something long. Hour and 49 minutes long. And this is unprecedented for me. It's got an hour and 4 minutes average watch time. Unbelievable. Very, very high watch time indeed. So far, 15,900 views. And a lot of those have been in recent months. There you go, look at that. So the average audience retention is 52 minutes. That's based from when the video was first launched. But now, currently, 104 minutes. You know, sorry, not 1 hour and 4 minutes, not 104, so 64 minutes. Which is really, really good. It's really good to see people engaging in a video like that and watching it pretty much all the way through. In the last 2 days, it's had, yeah, look, 1,504 views. It gives you all the stats. I often reference this. It's really interesting to see how a video initially can be really quite dormant. It doesn't really get many views apart from the initial launch, which is the regular subscribers normally. And then for some unknown reason, it just takes off. And the reason why this one's taken off is YouTube's been recommending it as a video to watch after people have been watching the Revzilla CT. Was it a CT90 they used? I think it was. One of the lads there did a full engine rebuild. And after that video, it then shows my video, if you leave it running, of getting a 110 up and running. So there you go. Very cool. What else? Oh, it's getting bloody cold in here. I should have put the heat on. Oh, that's not smoke. That's cold breath. Or warm breath, should I say, on cold air. JJ just had to say, great show, Andy, this morning. I hope so. I mean, I enjoy the Diag stuff, and I'm definitely going to make a concerted effort to show more of that during the live streams as I do the diagnostics, you know, while I'm away. You know, because in all intents and purposes, you know, it's a real shame for me that I can't show those processes. I mean, I could have filmed both of the ones that I did yesterday, but I just didn't have time, and it could be a decade before those videos would actually go out on the channel. It could be more than that. I mean, I'm hoping to keep my current employment for many, many, many years. I thoroughly enjoy what I do, and I learn an awful lot doing it, although it does require a lot of effort, I must admit. Ted McConaughey. Yes, hopefully I pronounced that right. Sorry, Ted. First time here, in from New Mexico, USA. Great content. Well, thank you very much, Ted. I appreciate that. I always think that my content is a bit weak sometimes on the live streams. They're very, very different to when I make a video, I must admit. Simon, one more job last week was a... was a trike. I think you missed the arrow out. Was a trike that lost spark on one coil. Pull the side light bulb and the spark came back. What the hell? They'd wired the tacho signal to the side light. What the hell? Classic. I had an issue. Oh, what was it? Yes. I had an issue with an ROV a few years ago now, down in Invercargill. Morning, Stu, if you're watching. It was say an ROV, and the only issue was the engine management light was coming on. There was no fault code stored. There was no running problems. It ran fine. And it turned out to be that they'd wired a two-way radio that they had in the vehicle. It was used on farms, so they obviously used two-way radios on the farm. They'd wired the two-way radio. Must have been the earth side, maybe. I don't know. The Stu reported that they wired the two-way radio into the starter circuit, the trigger circuit for the starter solenoid, and that was enough to cause a bit of a backfeed through the ECU and to plink on the engine management light. I've seen that many times on the same model due to an internal fault in the ignition switch. With corrosion, you get a voltage track across to the same circuit, and it causes the same problem. Engine management light comes on, but it goes out if you press the brake pedal. Weird, isn't it? Really weird, but obviously an internal issue. Put a new ignition switch in, problem fixed every single time. Most bizarre. JJ, hit the like button, everybody. Absolutely. 24 likes. That's good. I'm happy with that. 24. Des Drab. Oh, pie time. Hello from Belarius. Hello, Belarius. Morning, Des. Oh, Des Drab. Simon, is that pie done? It is, but we're going to give it 60 seconds to stand because you know it's going to be red hot when I pull it out of there. Workshop's still a mess. Got a lot to tidy up, but hey, concreting today, so I've got to get that done. I did get a text from Steve the other day. Steve with the race car. Now, if you remember, well, probably about a year ago, I got invited down to the Bruce McLaren, I think it is, Bruce McLaren Raceway in Taupo, or Taupo, as the locals call it, but I call it Taupo because I'm from Yorkshire. And Steve was there with his Elise, wasn't it? Was it a little Elise? Little blue race car. We went down to go and watch him race and wandered into the pits, found him, and they had the engine exposed. And they were there with a multimeter checking the wiring and stuff, and it had an intermittent no start, no crank. And he was panicking a little bit, but Steve was very, very focused on the racing, and he didn't want to get involved with the fix of the car. He had a mechanic there to do it, and they were really struggling to find the source of the problem. So, as always, grab some tools and give him a hand. And we found some pretty shoddy wiring, in all honesty. Not really what you'd expect on a race car. It should have been a bit better done than what it was. And there was a loose terminal on the starter solenoid. That's all it was in the end. And it was blowing. I think it had actually come off the starter solenoid, and it was shorting to ground. So whenever you tried to start the engine, of course, it would just blow the fuse. So we got all that fixed up, and we got him on the track just in time for his next race. And of course, recommendation was to sort your wiring out, Steve. It's a bit of a mess. You're not going to win a race if you don't finish the race. Simple as that, isn't it? Anyway, we got there in the end. Right, so let's go and get this pie because I'm starving and I'm getting really cold in here for some reason. The temperature seems to drop. It's not got warmer. Right, we'll turn you around. 3, 2, 1. Boom. There we go. Look. Dum, dum, dum. Oh, there's going to be some warmth now. Nice and warm. Look at that. Oh, it's risen. Look, it's no longer got that concave top to it. It's now popped up. So maybe it's gained a few more ingredients. Who knows? Oh, we've got a bit. Oh, look at that. We've got a rupture right around the side. Oh no, thermal expansion. Not ideal. Right, hang on. Let me just try and grab it out of here without burning my fingers, because it is still quite hot. Underside. Oh, underside looks really nice, doesn't it? Very good. Okay, right, back to the... Oh, hang on. We'll just shut the lid. Keep Mr. Ratty out. Okay, I'm sure Mr. Ratty's still... Oh, by the way, yes, I have an update on not on Mr. Ratty. Where's the bag? I'm just going to put it on the bag because I need a clean surface to put my pie on. Otherwise, you know, workshop's not the cleanest place in the world, is it? Got to think safety third, you know, all that kind of stuff. Right, we'll stick it on there. Turn you around. Boom. I'm back. Okay, so yes, update on Mr. Ratty. Remember we did a video, not too long ago, on setting all the traps and stuff. And I haven't done the follow-up, although we have caught some rats, as you all well know. Rats. I have now managed to secure a fake rat. So that's now on its way. When that turns up, I will do the final video, the follow-up on which mouse or which rat traps were the successful ones and where they were placed, and I'll try and reenact the scenarios of Mr. Ratty being caught. Should be quite an interesting little video, a bit of fun. It's not often we do those kind of videos, but you know. Oh. Simon, any update on the now shop dog flapjack? Mrs. Mechanic hasn't made any more flapjack recently. No. What she did make was incredibly sweet and gooey. So we'll have to wait and see. She did make some a few months ago, and it was, or maybe a year ago, and it was quite the opposite. It was like concrete. It wasn't gooey at all. It was like a solid mass. She couldn't even cut it up. If you cut it up, it just turned to crumble. It just crumbled up into just bits. So you were just basically eating the ingredients. So, hopefully third time lucky. But no, it was the gooey one was super tasty, but far too sweet. Far too sweet. Anyway, back to the pie. So here we go. Look, this is, for those that have recently joined us, those that slept in, Roger, this is a Bake Shack pepper steak. This is from the village, not this village, but the one just down the road where Mrs. Mechanic goes shopping. And yes, made by Bake Shack, established in 1999. And it says it's homemade quality, so we'll find out. So we've got a bit of a failing. It's actually glued itself back down again as it's cooled down. We've got a bit of a lift there. Underside looks good. It's cooling down by the second because it's very cold in here at the moment. So we've got our pen handy. Take Mr. Lid off. There we go. Right. Okay. As always, good pie management is to start where the failure is and eliminate that failure as quickly as possible. Because if you leave that till last, it could lead to a pie-tastrophe. Okay. I'm gingerly going to go in. Good word from Eric. I'm going to gingerly go in because it might be red hot on the inside. Very, very flaky pastry. You can see on the lid there, look, it's gonna be all over the bench before we know it. There's a lot of pepper. I'm not a massive fan of pepper, to be honest. Mum likes pepper. She puts pepper on pretty much everything. It's one of the things that I remember the kids telling me when they went to the UK. It's not bad. Not bad. The contents. It's not a really deep sort of beefy colour. But it's not bad. I almost taste onions in there. I wonder if they put some onions in as like a filler. Got ingredients on there? Well, they do say, why does this pie taste so awesome? Because it's been made the old-fashioned way, using the freshest natural ingredients. We hope you enjoy eating as much as we enjoyed making it for you. Oh, pepper. Back in my throat. Ingredients, they do. Water, that's cheap. Beef, wheat flour, cream, margarine, onion. There is onions in there. I was right. Pepper, obviously. Modified maize starch, salt, natural seasoning, glaze, allergens, wheat flour, milk product, and soy. Okay. So I was right. There's definitely onions in here. Oh. Quite hot. Now, Can't let it get away. It's weird. We see that big sort of blobby thing coming out of there. Look, it's not ideal. Yeah, it's almost like the gravy's not really gravy. It's sort of like just goo mixed in with probably the wheat flour and stuff. Maybe, I don't know. I have no idea. I'm not a chef. Taste stroke flavor, incredibly strong on the pepper. That's my real take from this. Any big chunks of meat yet? No, not yet. We'll have to keep digging in. But initial flavor, it's all right. It's not, doesn't taste nice and meaty. You know, I don't feel like I'm biting into a steak, that's for sure. So I'm going to give it a 6 on the flavor. Structure fall apartness. Well, we're a bit early on for that, to be honest. It's coping pretty well at the moment. There's no, now that we've eliminated that failure of the bonding of the lid, there's no real problem. So we're down to probably about an 8 at the moment because of that. Runnability test. Well, it's still very hot at the moment, so let's do that. 45 degrees at, I don't know, 30 seconds, wasn't it, normally? It looks pretty gooey. I can't really see it going anywhere, although we do have the crumbly factor to worry about. There is a very small amount of movement going on, but it's not going to fail within 30 seconds. That's for sure. Okay, so it's not bad. It's not bad. The runnability, it's sort of passed, although we have got a lot of pastry on the bench already. So, what do we give it? Just the pastry problem? Yeah, in your car, pastry on the seat. I'm going to give it an 8. I'll give it an 8 for that. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. Meat quality. Well, we've not had any meat yet, so we'll leave that for a minute. Now, this is the pastry pie to crust ratio. So this is the amount of pastry based on the amount of contents. And as you can see very, very clearly from there, we've got a lot of pastry across the bottom. We've got maybe not quite so much pastry on the top. It looks more because it's that puff pastry stuff. And then we've got this sort of slither of contents down the inside. Probably only about 10 millimeters, maybe 12 millimeters of actual pie content, which is, it's woefully bad, is that, to be honest. I feel quite duped. I do. Still no big chunks of meat. Okay, so pie to crust ratio, the bulk of this pie is pastry. That's bad. It's going to get, I'm going to get a 3 for that one. Very poor, in fact. Very poor indeed. Because, you know, I didn't buy a pie just to eat pastry. Wow. Still hot. Okay. Availability per stroke logistics. Let's get rid of some of the stuff. The Bake Shack. A lot of dairies have it. That's pretty good around New Zealand. There's thousands of dairies around New Zealand. I think you can buy them from supermarkets as well. I don't think you can buy them online. Let's have a look. I mean, obviously, if you can get them from supermarkets, you can buy them from the supermarket online and then we'll deliver them, but they won't deliver them hot. You've got to cook them yourself. So that's something else to bear in mind. We've been there before. Bake Shack. Okay. Bake Shack. Wholesale Bake Shack. Bake Shack. Where are they based? Mount Maunganui is where they're based, by the looks of it. If that's the same place. The Bake Shack Wholesale. That might just be a bakery that's called the Bake Shack. Don't know. Let's have a look on the website. Right, so we'll turn you around. You can join in with this one. Boom, boom, boom. Bear with me. Bear with me. I've got to sort the camera out. 3, 2, 1. Boom. There we go. Look. Right. So, yes, this is the guys. That's the same logo as on the pie. Wholesale. Oh, they're actually trying to get some more people to stock. Ooh, bit of a burp. Become a Bake Shack stockist and offer your customers more choice and more variety. Value for money. Come on in, contact. Yes, they are. It is Mount Maunganui. That's where they're based. Holy crap. 5:30 a.m. they start. That's almost the day before to 3:30. Info at thebakeshack.co.nz, Mount Maunganui. account application. I don't really want to do that. I just want to know more about their pies. Products. Come on, you can do it. Here we go. This is what we want. Pies, glorious pies. Kiwis love them, and we love making them. From traditional flavours to gourmet and specialty pies, you simply won't find a better tasting pie for the price. So they're going very much on cheap, cheap, cheap. That pie's got a lot more filling than my pie. And there's all your range of pies, very nice. Oh, they look good on the photos, don't they? They look really good. Oh, they do sweets as well. And sandwiches, what the hell? And they've got great buns, perfect. Can't turn away great buns. Very good. Okay, I'll have to go and call in one day, won't I? Can you buy them? I don't think you can buy, there's no mention there, is there, of being able to buy them online through their website. No, that's it, just takes you down there. Okay, all right. I think we've exhausted that bit. Okay, turn you around again. Boom, 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 boom. There we go. Terrible camera work as always. Seems to be a signature of my live streams these days. Okay, so another bite before it gets too cold. It's not bad, but it's gooey. And the contents of this pie look nothing like the photo. So available to logistics, dairies, you get them warm, probably soggy out of the warmer. And you can also get them from supermarkets, some supermarkets, not all, by the way. I'm going to give them a 6. I think 6 is fair. Bake Shack pies are pretty common around New Zealand. I can say that from experience because I've been all over New Zealand many, many times and I regularly come across them. However, I will point out that if I see a Bake Shack pie and I see other brands, often I'll try and look at the other brands. They're not my first choice of pie, as you well know. But hey, if it does the job and it keeps you going, it's all that matters, isn't it? So, next one, pastry taste rating. So I'm going to have to take a chunk of pastry off here. Here we go. Pastry only. Pretty gooey, to be honest. Not over impressed. Okay. Five. I think it's a 5. Packaging design. Well, let's get rid of some more crumbs. There we go. It's essentially a paper bag. I don't think it has a plastic liner to it. Bear with me. No. So it's just paper, but it is printed. They've spent quite a bit of time putting this together. I mean, it's for a basic packaging, it's sort of reasonably appealing. There's no window, you can't see what you're buying. That's one disadvantage. They've given you quite a bit of info on the back. It's even got a barcode and stuff and the contents and things, which probably legally have to give you. Yeah, that's probably about what, maybe a couple of hours work putting that together tops, getting it signed off. What we're going to give them? 6. I think it's 6. Packaging design gets a 6. Good job. Recyclable score. Do they tell us it's recyclable? Let's have a little look. Yes, actually they do. So on the back, it's got the recyclable symbol on there. Well done, Bake Shack. You've told us to recycle it responsibly. Oh, second burp. Bear that in mind. They get a 10 for that. So very planet-friendly packaging. Very good. Good job there, people. Okay, pie server attractiveness. This is a difficult one because I didn't pick it up. No. No score from Mrs. Mechanic either. Pie server attractiveness. I'm trying to. I remember the store. I know where she's been. If it was the lady that served, I'm gonna go net 6. I think 6 is a pretty fair score based on that. Okay. So we've still got meat quality. We're over halfway through the pie, and realistically, it's just sort of like a puree. It's sort of a mush of the gravy sort of blended with the meat. There's been no nice chunks of meat whatsoever, which is highly disappointing. It really is almost like a, I wouldn't say mince pie, because mince pie is usually little tiny lumps of meat. This is more like the odd strand of meat mixed in with this gravy kind of puree kind of filler thing, really. Now there might be, just in that corner there might be a piece of meat. So I'm going to take another bite right now. Okay. That was a huge chunk of meat, but so far the only one. Meat quality, it tasted okay. It tasted very much like a braising steak. Its score suddenly went up because I found that, by the way, and I'm pleased that I did, really, because if I found that after I'd scored it, it would have had to change it. It's not great. It would have been about a 3, I think, maybe a 2 or a 3 before I found that. I think we're going to push them up to maybe a 5. Meat quality 5. Now, structure fully partners. We're not far off. We can do that now, I think. The base has done okay. It's quite brittle. See there? I can just pull that whole chunk off there. That's the really dry bit. And then if you go inside, then you've got this layer of gooey pastry. Very bizarre. Another big chunk of meat. That's 2. 2 chunks of meat so far in the whole pie. Okay. Meat quality 5. No, it's going to stay at a 5. It's not going to get any higher than that. Okay, stuffability score. Oh, structure fully partners. That's what we're doing, wasn't it? Well, it's sort of cooked pretty well. We've got a bit of pastry on the bench. I'm going to give it, and we had the lid issue at the start, didn't we? So I'm going to give it 7. I think 7 is I'm being generous with that, to be honest. It should really be a 6. Okay, so we've got 2 left. No, 3 left. We've got still tasty when cold, post pie heartburn, and stuffability score. So we're going to need to crack on and eat the rest of it now. That was close. That was nearly a pie-tastrophe. Right, where are we? Mike Adams, howdy all. I'm a little late, but I'm here for a few minutes. Busy day here in the Adams residence. Well, good luck with that. Jim K. Jim K's in the workshop. Hello, crew. Hope all is well. Good morning, Jim. Welcome back to the workshop. Jim says, I have a front diff to sort out. Oh, man. It was a final drive last week, and now you've got a front diff to do this time. So no doubt we'll be getting another phone call tomorrow morning whilst I'm driving up to Auckland. We can talk about that one. Simon, become a stockist. Motorcycle shops should have a pie counter. I would agree completely. Get more people through the door and look at new bikes. Quite a few of the big motorcycle shops here in New Zealand, and Cycle Spot is probably the biggest motorcycle shop by far. They're based on the north shore of Auckland, North Island. They've just moved to a new premises, and it's massive. It's almost like walking into a crew. We're back. That's okay. We're back. We didn't lose signal. We're okay. They first of all, they sell a lot of different brands of motorcycle, and they've made each brand have its own designated area in a square layout. So you've got these long corridors, this sort of grid network in the showroom area. And I'm not kidding. When you walk through the door to the far end of the showroom, I would say is probably 80 meters, maybe more actually. maybe 100 meters. It's a long way. When you look, but right down the far end, you can see the parts counter and service reception. Before that, you've got hundreds of to get past, and they're all in the little designated areas. And they've used that sort of arena style aluminium lattice beam lighting. You know, that they use at concerts and stuff, where they have all the aluminium and then the lights all hang off that. It looks brilliant. And you really feel that you're at a bike show when you walk into that shop. There's a lot of ambiance to the place, you know. It really feels good. A lot of work and effort's got into it. It's a very high ceiling, so these lights are suspended on cables on these big frameworks, and obviously cost a lot of money to do. Looks really cool. They have a cafe, and they've always had a cafe. Even at the old building, the cafe was in a separate building, so bikers would turn up, you know, leave the bike for a service, go to the cafe, get a pie, have a drink, whatever. Maybe go for a bit of a wander, come back and have another drink, and then go and get the bike, and it's all serviced up. Absolutely, totally agree with you, Simon. I think it's a brilliant idea. Quite a few motorcycle shops now around New Zealand have adopted the coffee side of it, the coffee cafe, but they've got one step further. You know, there's a lot more food available. It's a one-stop shop to get nourishment, basically. You don't have to go anywhere else, and I like that. I can see the marketing behind it. Keeps people in the store. They then wander around and look at jackets, and they've got whole areas of all the clothing and the helmets and stuff. And it's about spend, isn't it? Once they're in the store, keep them there and get them to buy stuff. Totally agree. Mike Adams, I feel your pain, Jim K. I have a transmission and a transfer case I've got to get rebuilt for my Dodge pickup. $4,000 US to have it done. Holy crap. Simon, DK Cycles in the UK is about the size, but it's all classic bikes. Now that would be a place to go. It really would. I'll check that out, Simon. So the pie's cooling down now. It's cooled down quite a bit. And I must admit, it's not very appetizing anymore. It's not very tasty. So that's going to help us with the still tasty when cold. It's the score is plummeting, believe me. Not impressed. This is not a pie that you'd want to eat stone cold out of your glove box. It absolutely is not. Right. Holy hell. Okay, so what have we got left? We've got still tasty when cold. Nah, 2. Might keep you alive, but it's not going to taste anything. Stuffability score. Wasn't the greatest pie in the world. Am I still hungry? Yeah, actually, I still am hungry. Wasn't very filling. There was a lot of pastry and not a lot of meat. I mean, there was 2 pieces of meat in there. We had onions. We had some kind of gravy kind of mush that filled the whole thing up. The volume was pretty low. Like I said, there was a lot of pastry. It wasn't great. I feel very unsatisfied. It's going to get a 3. Sorry, mate, but you're only going to get a 3. Have we got all of them? Oh, post-pie heartburn. That's the last one. We've had 2 burps so far. I don't feel too bad. I think they're going to get an 8. We'll give them an 8 for that. So, yeah, an 8. It might change. You know, if I want to start mixing concrete, if it starts coming back, that's going to plummet. Okay, let's add up the score and see what the Bake Shack pepper steak gets as a score from Andy Mechanic. Obviously, this is my own personal opinion, but I think it's a pretty good guideline because I've eaten a lot of pies over the years. I'm a bit of a pie expert these days. Right, here we go. Turn you around. 3, 2, 1. Boom. Okay, so you got to double check the arithmetic because I'm not the greatest. It's like doing marking at Unitec. Okay, so we've got 13. 21. 26. 29. 35. 40. 42. 48. 58. 66. 69. 75. It gets 75. That's still not a bad score, actually. I mean, how come it's got a reasonable score? I thought it would have been lower than that. So where's it scored highly? Well, it did okay on the runnability score. It got 8 for that. And the structure wasn't too bad. It got 7. And it got full marks on the packaging. Being recyclable. Oh dear, we've had another burp, haven't we? So post heartburn has now dropped to 7. So that's now 74. Jeez. Okay. So yeah, it gained a lot of marks on the packaging being recyclable. We've got to include that because the planet's falling apart at the moment. And it did pretty well on the runnability score. Other than that, pretty mediocre scores. And it scored very poorly on the still tasty when cold. Do not eat this pie when it's cold. It's not nice. Okay, so Bake Shack. And it's the pepper steak, isn't it? Got 74 as a score. Like I said, it might change. If that starts coming back on me later on, it's going down. Okay, we now need to go and find out where it ends up on the leaderboard. The leaderboard of all pies. Here we go. Look at that. Keep the camera in focus. Good job, Andy. Right, Bake Shack, pepper and steak, 74. 74. Where's 74 going to be? Dum 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 dum. We'll stick him on there for now, look, so we can make a space. 70. Oh my word. That's pretty low, isn't it? 74. It's near the bottom. So the only other ones we've got Big Ben steak, cheese, and meatier meat, 73. That was crap. Irvin's 6-pack steak and cheese. These are a very, very cheap pie. You buy them in a 6-pack. So not really a pie that I could recommend to anybody, in all honesty. 74. All right, we'll stick him in there, look. Wow. If I was Bake Shack, I'd be quite sad right now. Because that pie and that score really doesn't reflect what's on their website at all. They could have done such a better job with that. They really could. Give me some more meat for a start. Jeez. Terrible. But it's getting longer, look. Look at all these. And I've actually ordered some more because we're getting really low. I've ordered some more of these. We've only got, I don't know, 7? I think 7 left. So there's some more of those magnetic strips on the way because there's going to be a lot more pies yet. There's still lots of pies in New Zealand that we've not reviewed. And don't forget, this has been going on now for over a year. Started in 2021. Pretty cool. I need to knock this one off the top though. I need a pie that beats that score. We need to get a new leader, I think. Right, back to the bench. One last cigarette and then we'll call it a day. The coffee's cold. And we're probably running way over time as well, it might look. Okay, there we go. Look, how's that? Is that going to work? Boom, boom, boom. Oh, I do feel better for having a pie now. I was starting to flag it. Okay, we'll get rid of that. Boom, boom, boom. It's a grand day. Honestly, the quality of the image that I can see here of the live stream is absolutely abysmal, YouTube. What's going on? Why is it so poor? Is it okay at your end? I need some feedback. If that's going to be the way it's going to be, then that's terrible. I wonder if I go out and come back in again. Maybe I can do that. I might just refresh it. Still looks pretty poor. Okay, now then, where do we get to? Mike Adams. Andy, I know you concentrate more on bikes, but in general, what's your opinion on engine flushes? Especially on high mileage engines, good or bad? Or just a waste of money? Maybe can apply to bikes. It's always a bone of contention is flushing the engine and transmissions as well. If it's an auto transmission, when you flush it, you can actually end up, some of the gunge is helping to keep things sealed up that need to be sealed up. So you can actually cause more problems than you resolve. Skip. Oh, that's better. It was just my connection. I think it must be okay at your end. And I think the same thing goes with engines as well. If it's a really high mileage engine, it's getting a bit tired. Does it need to be flushed? Really? You know, why run the risk if you flush it through and it starts burning, you dislodge all the carbon around the rings and stuff and it starts burning oil. You know, poor old customer's going to have to pay a fortune to get it fixed, and it probably isn't going to get fixed. It's probably going to get scrapped. But honestly, my video is the video's clip. Good, thank you, Mike. I'm going to completely ignore mine then because it doesn't matter to me what the video looks like. But mine is terrible. I don't know why. Weather's not that bad. Anyway, you're not level. There we are. Right. So, in all honesty, I don't think I've ever done an engine flush on a bike, unless there's been a problem. Pepper. No, I think the only time is if we did do one years ago, and I wasn't really a great fan of doing it, to be honest. It wasn't me that did it, one of the techs, and he just kept getting metal filings out, which is always a bad idea, and it should have been an engine rebuild. But I think the customer just said try and get as much out as you can and send it out. So yeah, my opinion, no. Cooling systems, absolutely. Coolant system needs to be clear of all debris and that kind of stuff. But engine, unless you see if there's loads of metal filings and stuff in there, you want to be going in and find out what the problem is, not trying to hide it. Simon, what do you think? Simon, it's been okay most of the stream. Some parts have been potato vision. Really? My apologies. On behalf of YouTube and the internet provider, Vodafone, I apologise for the crap transmission. I can't do anything about it. I live in the middle of nowhere, and we are both the laptop and the phone are communicating with a mast only about 3 k's away. There's another little point for you. And it does seem to get affected by the weather a bit. So maybe that's what to do with it. Simon, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Exactly. Leave it alone. Let sleeping dogs lie. Give it some fresh oil, that's fine. But don't flush it. Especially transmission. I always felt the guy that I worked for at Firestone was doing transmission flushes just to try and get more work, try and spin it up, And we did get transmissions with problems after we've done the flush. These are auto transmissions, by the way. And he was like, well, we had to do the flush, we had to charge you for that, and now it's playing up, so it's going to be a reconditioned transmission because we didn't fix them ourselves. We used to send them away. So we're almost there, people. I've got half a cigarette to go, and my coffee is still going. Morning, Steve, by the way. I thought I'd put your mug on the thumbnail to say hi. I haven't heard from Steve for quite some time, and I haven't seen any posts from Steve on Facebook either. So if any of you, Simon, anybody else heard from Steve at Simply Diagnostics, and if he's okay, please let me know, because we're all getting a bit concerned now. Jeez, it's chilly in here. So, any more questions before we sign off? Over to you, people. It's a live stream. It's your an hour and 49 minutes. I've got concreting to do. Holy crap. I imagine Mrs. McCann will be already out there finishing off digging that hole. It's not going to be ideal. What have we got? Simon, heating for the workshop. Yeah, but I'm from Yorkshire. We just put up with it, don't we? I should have put my jacket on. But then I'd leave it on all day. And that's soft. Don't like to wear my jacket all day. It gets in the way. And it gets grubby. Shirts wash up. They clean up really well. But the jacket, if you get oil and stuff on that, it's hard to get out. And it's a nice jacket. I like my jacket. It's a really good jacket. Jeez. Come on, comments. Give me a comment. You can do it. You've got that much left. How long that takes. And then we're going to sign off. We might even sign off now. Is that it? Are we all done? Have we covered everything? It's been a good live stream, I think. We've done some diagnostic stuff, some reviews of diagnostics that I've done. I've got the Ted Simon's book. I mean, look at this. I've got 2 books, both signed by Ted Simon. If you just joined us, Mum sent me a 50th birthday present and signed by the man himself. Thank you, Ted. Again, if you're watching, really, really appreciate that. So yeah, no heating for the workshop. I'm still got on the cards. I'd love to put aircon in here because I know in the summertime it gets red hot in here. But in all honesty, it's not that much of a problem really because I'm only here weekends most of the time now. I'm spending a lot more time on the road and up in Auckland. And I miss my little workshop. I like doing stuff here. I've not done any engineering projects for a while. Although I have got a big engineering project to do, which might be filmed. I don't know yet. Which probably will be filmed. Which will be to mount 3 air compressors on a big steel structure that will sit under the carport to run the sandblasting cabinet. And I've got to get it all done in the next few weeks because this is the calm before the storm. There's going to be an awful lot of steel work turning up for those footwell support kits. So we've got a lot of work ahead of us. Okay, crew, the flies are starting to wake up, so it's time to go. Thank you all for watching. Really, really appreciate all your support, whether it's just viewing or donating or sending stuff through. Again, Simon is a regular culprit of doing that. Thank you, Simon. Really appreciate everything you do for the channel. Thank you very, very much for all your support. I'll see you again next Sunday, 8:30 a.m. I will. Until then, stay safe, people. Cheers for now, and I'll see you around. Over and out.